Welcome friends to another Launchpad to Learning video. My name is Natalie and I'm an educator here at the Air Zoo. Today we are going to be making spooky monster eyeballs. You only need a very few amount of materials that are really common household materials. You're going to need eggs, raw, uncooked, just fresh eggs, some food coloring, a spoon, a cup, and some white vinegar. That's all you need for this activity. Before we get started, my question for you is, how can we dissolve the shell of an egg without breaking it, without cooking it? What do we think? Think about that as we get started on this activity here. So what we're gonna do, and a cool thing about this too, if you have eggs that have started to kind of go bad in your refrigerator, not really safe to eat, you can still use them for this activity. So I have some eggs here and a cup. I like to use a plastic cup just so we can throw it away afterwards, but you can use a reusable cup as well. Just make sure to wash it super well. I'm gonna take an egg. Let's see, let's do this one instead. All right, I'm gonna take an egg, place it gently in my cup, and just fill it with vinegar. We wanna fully submerge that egg in vinegar. This one kind of floats just a bit. That's okay. If it floats too much like this one, this is kind of an old egg, it won't work super well. But if we take a look at this egg over here, you should notice pretty shortly after adding your egg to vinegar, you should start to notice that there are bubbles starting to form all over the outside of the egg. That's the start of a chemical reaction between the surface of the egg shell, and the vinegar. Now, if you want to make this even spookier, you can add a bit of food coloring. For example, I added black to this spooky egg here. You can add green, orange. Let's do some lime green for this one. So I'll add a little bit of green there. A little bit of yellow, make it super limey. Mix that up just a bit. Now, the next part is the hard part. You have to wait. What you want to do is you want to wait about 24 hours before taking a closer look at your egg. Like I said, you should start to notice that chemical reaction happening very quickly with those bubbles. But after 24 hours, if you come back to your egg and just use that spoon to kind of scoop up your egg just a bit, you should start to notice that the shell has started to dissolve and break away. That's because the vinegar is an acid which is reacting with the calcium of the eggshell and it's starting to break it apart. Now it kind of depends on your egg for how long it needs to sit in that vinegar. 24 hours might be enough. If you notice really all of that eggshell dissolving, 48 hours is kind of the sweet spot though. So after 24 hours, you should start to notice that reaction really happening. You can freshen up the vinegar at that point by gently taking out your egg, freshening up that vinegar with some new vinegar, and then putting it in for another 24 hours. After about 48 hours, you should notice that the eggshell has completely dissolved and actually the egg has become squishy, almost like a bouncy ball. That shell has completely dissolved, leaving behind just the membrane of the egg. And if you're lucky, the egg will bounce just a bit. And again, this kind of depends on how new or how old your eggs are, but let's just try it. We might get a little explosion and get a little messy, but let's just try to see if it bounces. Yep, just like that. You should notice you have a bouncy eyeball egg after that 48 hours. So they're super fun to play with. Try bouncing them around a bit. Now, this activity can get a bit messy. The higher up you bounce that egg, you might get an explosion. So just make sure to protect your work surface. Maybe do this outside. Look at that bouncy eyeball, spooky eyeball egg. Super fun. Now, An important note, after you're done with this activity, after you're touching these eggs, you need to make sure to wash your hands super, super well, as playing with raw egg in this way can make you sick if you don't wash your hands super well. So have fun with this spooky eyeball activity. Have fun this Halloween. Make a bunch of different colors. See how high you can bounce that egg before it splatters just like that. And look at that. Now it even looks even cooler. That super dark green eyeball egg. Have fun, friends, and happy Halloween. See you next time.